Welcome back to another episode of Valuable Coins, where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering the most valuable and unique coins in the market today. If you're a coin enthusiast, collector, or simply interested in the incredible value of rare coins, you're in the right place. In today's video, we will explore two of the most fascinating and expensive United States coins currently circulating the auction market. First up, the Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most recognized coins in American numismatic history. First struck in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the series ran until 1958 and is still a favorite among collectors worldwide. Each coin carries not just monetary value, but also a connection to the history and culture of the United States in the first half of the 20th century. The coin we are looking at today is a 1949 Lincoln Wheat cent without a mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. It is described as having a thick line detail, being in fine condition, and showing scratches from circulation. While it may not be one of the rarest pieces in the Wheat Penny series, it still holds a place of importance for collectors and those who appreciate American coinage. The year 1949 came just after World War II, a period when the United States was adjusting to peace and entering an era of economic growth. Pennies were still a staple in everyday commerce, used in payphones, candy machines, and daily transactions. More than 217 million wheat cents were minted at Philadelphia that year. So the 1949 cent without a mint mark is not considered rare. However, condition, die varieties, and eye appeal can all affect how much collectors are willing to pay for an individual coin. Your coin is described as having a thick line. In numismatics, small design differences or die characteristics often become points of interest for collectors. Some 1949 cents show thicker lines in the date or lettering due to the way the dies were made or worn. While not an official major variety, collectors sometimes notice these differences and set them aside. If it turns out to be a recognized variety or double die, that could add a small premium. But generally, the presence of a thicker line does not automatically raise the value by a large amount unless it is certified as a distinct die variety. Condition is the main factor. In fine condition, a 1949 Wheat Penny shows moderate wear. Lincoln's portrait will still be visible, but details in his hair and cheek will be worn smooth. On the reverse, the wheat ears will be visible, but lacking sharp lines, and the words 1 cent and United States of America will remain bold enough to read clearly. Scratches and dirt from circulation lower the eye appeal further, and collectors prefer coins without damage. That said, a fine condition coin with scratches is still collectible as a filler in a Wheat Penny set. In today's market, the value of a 1949 Philadelphia wheat cent in fine condition with scratches is generally between 5 cents and 20 cents. It is worth more than its face value, but is not rare enough to command higher prices in worn condition. Better examples in very fine or extremely fine condition may sell for 50 cents or more. Uncirculated examples were the original mint. Luster is still present and nowhere is visible, often bring $2 to $5. Red uncirculated coins with bright color can bring $10 to $20 or more, especially in high certified grades. The most valuable 1949 pennies are those graded mint state 67 or higher with full red color, which can sell for hundreds of dollars at major auctions. It is also worth noting that 1949 wheat pennies exist from other mints as well. The Denver and San Francisco issues, marked with D or S mint marks, had lower mintages than Philadelphia. The 1949S in particular can be harder to find in high grade, and collectors pay a premium for those. But the Philadelphia no mint mark issue remains the most common of the three. Auction markets today show that circulated 1949 Philadelphia cents in average condition do not sell individually for more than a few cents over face value. They are often included in bulk wheat cent lots, where thousands of common-date coins are sold together for collectors to search through. However, well-preserved examples or certified high-grade coins continue to attract demand. Collectors who are building complete Lincoln Cent albums need the 1949 issue. So even a worn example, like yours, still has a place in the collecting world. While the scratches and dirt on your coin may lower its value, it does not take away from its significance. Every coin carries history. This 1949 cent has passed through countless hands, perhaps used to buy candy, newspapers, or rides on a streetcar. Each scratch tells a part of its journey. For many collectors, the sentimental or historical value of a wheat cent is just as important as its price in dollars. In the world of coin collecting, every small cent has a story to tell. And today, we focus on the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the S. Mint mark from the San Francisco Mint. This coin carries not only a small piece of history from post-world or to America, but also a certain charm that attracts collectors, even if its face value is just 1 cent. The Wheat Penny series, minted between 1909 and 1958, is among the most beloved in American numismatics. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays the 2 wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent. By 1946, Americans were recovering from the war years, and the mint was returning to the normal copper composition after producing steel cents in 1943 to conserve copper for the war effort. The 1946 wheat penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that distinctive reddish-brown tone collectors love. The San Francisco Mint struck more than 198 million of these pennies in 1946, making them widely available. Because of this high mintage, the coin is not considered rare in general circulation. However, collectors pay special attention to condition, mint, mark, and the occasional error that can set one coin apart from the rest. When we say a 1946 penny is in fine condition, it means the coin shows moderate wear from circulation. You can still clearly read the date and mint mark, and Lincoln's profile is well outlined. But the finer details, such as hairlines and beard definition, are worn down. On the reverse, the wheat stalks remain visible, though the high points have been smoothed by use. Fine grade is somewhere in the middle of the numismatic scale, above heavily worn good and very good coins, but below very fine and uncirculated examples. So what is this coin worth in today's market? In most cases, a 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, in fine condition, is valued between 10 and 50 cents. Price guides often put the typical value around 12 cents, which is not surprising given how many of these coins remain available. Even with scratches or dirt from circulation, collectors are often willing to pay slightly more than face value because of the history behind the Wheat Penny series. Uncirculated examples, however, are far more valuable, sometimes ranging from $10 to $40 depending on the grade, the luster, and whether the coin is red, red-brown, or brown in color. The highest values are reserved for mint-state coins, certified by professional grading services such as PCGs or NGC, where small differences in quality can make a big difference in price. What makes this coin particularly interesting is the possibility of mint errors. San Francisco Mint occasionally produced varieties such as inverted mint marks, repunched mint marks, or overmint marks, where an S was punched over a D. These varieties can turn an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Some error coins have been sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on grade. For example, certain inverted S varieties in mint-state condition can reach values close to $1,000. Collectors who come across a 1946 S penny should always examine the mint mark carefully under magnification. Because small details there could mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and a coin worth hundreds. It's important to remember that condition plays a huge role in value. A fine-grade coin may be interesting historically, but usually sells for a modest premium above face value. Yet, even in this grade, it carries significance because it represents a piece of post-war America and a long tradition of Lincoln cents that continue to circulate to this day. For collectors just beginning their journey, a 1946 cess penny in fine condition is an affordable entry point into the wheat cent series, allowing them to build a set without spending much. For experienced numismatists, it can be a foundation for exploring varieties and learning grading standards. If you happen to find one of these pennies in your pocket change or inherited collection, it is worth holding on to. While a single coin in fine condition might not make you rich, its true value lies in the story it tells. It is a reminder of Abraham Lincoln's legacy, the resilience of the United States in the years after World War II, and the craftsmanship of the San Francisco Mint. And who knows, your coin could be one of those rare error varieties that fetch far more than expected. That is the thrill of coin collecting. Every small cent has the potential to surprise you. Next up, the Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most important and beloved coins in American history. It made its first appearance in 1909. And this was not just another coin, but a historic issue that marked the first time a real person appeared on a regular circulating United States coin. Up until then, most designs had featured symbolic figures, such as Liberty. But in 1909, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the United States Mint introduced a new cent that honored the 16th president. The coin was an immediate success, and more than a century later, the Lincoln cent is still being struck, making it the longest-running coin design in American coinage history. The particular coin we are talking about today is the 1909 Lincoln Wheat Cent without a mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This coin is significant because it comes from the very first year of the Lincoln Cent series. Collectors place a lot of importance on first-year issues, and the 1909 cent stands out as a landmark in U.S. numismatics. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 72 million of these coins, so while it is not the rarest of all wheat cents, its first-year status makes it highly collectible. There are actually a few different new types of 1909 cents. Some have the designer Victor David Brenner's initials, VDB, on the reverse along the bottom rim. These 1909 VDB cents are very popular and can bring strong premiums. The version without the VDB initials is the one we are discussing here. These were struck in very large numbers once the mint removed the initials after public criticism. So the 1909 without VDB is the most common of the first-year issues. Still, it remains an essential coin for anyone who is building a complete Lincoln cent collection. Now let us consider the condition of your coin. You describe it as being in extra fine condition with some scratches. Extra fine is a relatively high circulated grade. On a coin in this grade, Lincoln's hair and cheek still show most of their detail, and the lettering and date are bold and sharp. The reverse, with the two wheat ears framing 1 cent and United States of America, will show strong lines, though the very highest points may show light wear. Extra fine coins often appeal to collectors because they retain a lot of design detail while still being affordable compared to mint state coins. However, scratches can reduce the value because they take away from the overall eye appeal and can make a coin less desirable for someone who wants a clean example. In today's market, 1909 Philadelphia Wheat Cent without the VDB initials, in extra fine condition, generally sells for about $5 to $15. Coins with light, minor circulation marks are usually toward the lower end of this range, while cleaner, sharper examples reach the higher end. If your coin has noticeable scratches, that can place it closer to $5. The exact price depends on how deep and distracting the scratches are, since collectors pay more for coins that look attractive even at the same grade. For comparison, in higher grades, the value increases steadily. An uncirculated 1909 wheat penny without VDB can sell for $22.50 in brown color, with red examples bringing even more. Gem red pieces certified at MS65 or higher can sell for several $100s, reflecting their scarcity. On the other hand, coins in lower grades such as good or very good may sell for just $1 or $2. This shows how much condition and eye appeal influence the market value of early Lincoln cents. Another important point is that while the Philadelphia issue is common, collectors still need it to complete their sets. Many Lincoln cent collections are built year by year and mint by mint, and no collection is complete without the first year. 1909. This steady demand helps keep its value higher than many later common wheat cents, even in circulated grades. Auction. Listings today often show 1909 Philadelphia cents selling quickly, even when worn, because of their special place in the series. Next up, the 1934 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and it stands as one of the many coins from the early decades of the wheat cent series that collectors enjoy adding to their sets. On the obverse, we see Victor David Brenner's famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, the first real person ever to appear on a United States coin. Surrounding Lincoln are the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date, 1934, to the right. Because this coin has no mint mark, it is a Philadelphia issue. On the reverse, the familiar two wheat stalks encircle the denomination 1 cent and United States of America with the motto "E pluribus unum" at the top, giving the coin its popular nickname, the wheat penny. In terms of history, the year 1934 fell during the Great Depression. The U.S. Mint continued to produce cents in large quantities, as coinage remained essential for everyday transactions. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 219 million Lincoln cents, which makes the 1934 issue relatively common compared to scarcer early wheat pennies. Because of this high mintage, most circulated examples, even those nearly 90 years old, are not rare today. However, collectors still value them, especially in grades above average circulation, since they show more detail and retain more of the original design. The condition of your coin is described as fine, which is a mid-range grade on the numismatic scale. A coin in fine condition shows moderate circulation where, on the obverse, Lincoln's portrait will have lost much of its finer detail. His hairlines and cheek are worn down, but the major features are still distinct. The lettering and date remain bold and easy to read. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are worn, but their outlines and some of the inner lines are still visible. A fine-grade coin has more eye appeal than a heavily worn, good-condition piece, though it is not as sharp as very fine or extra fine. Scratches, which you mentioned, are present. Do not disqualify it from being collectible, but do reduce overall desirability slightly. So what is the value of a 1934 Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition with some scratches in today's market? Price guides and recent sales show that these coins in fine condition are usually worth between 15 cents and 35 cents. Most circulated 1934 Philadelphia cents fall within that modest range because of their availability. The value climbs as the grade improves. In very fine condition, prices range closer to 40 to 60 cents, while in extra fine condition, they can reach around $1. Uncirculated examples, especially those with bright red or red-brown luster, are much more desirable and can sell for $5 to $20 or more depending on grade and eye appeal. The top-end certified red coins in mint state condition can sell for significantly higher amounts at auction, while the regular 1934 Philadelphia cent is common. Errors from this year can be valuable. Collectors keep an eye out for doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other striking issues. A coin with a strong double die or dramatic misstrike could be worth much more than a normal example, even in lower grades. Error coins from the 1930s are less common than later issues. So if you ever come across one, it is worth having evaluated by a professional. To summarize, a 1934 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition with some scratches is worth around $15,000 in today's collector market. It is not a rare or high-value coin, but it still represents a meaningful piece of history from the Depression era and remains an important part of the Lincoln Cent series. Collectors often enjoy holding on to these coins not for their high dollar value, but for their historical and educational significance. Each coin serves as a small time capsule, passed through countless hands over decades. And today, it finds its place in coin albums, collections, or displays. Next up, the Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most collected coins in United States history. And even common dates, like the 1952 Denver issue, tell an important story about mid-20th century America. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the wheat cent ran until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse. With its simple obverse portrait of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse, the coin became one of the most iconic and enduring designs in American coinage. The particular coin we are looking at today is a 1952 wheat cent with a D Mint mark, which tells us it was produced at the Denver Mint. In that year, the Denver facility struck more than 746 million wheat cents. That massive mintage means the 1952D penny is not a rare date in the series. In fact, it is among the more common mid-century wheat cents, and because so many were produced and survived, the value depends almost entirely on condition and appeal. Your coin is described as being dirty, showing scratches, and falling into circulated condition. Circulated coins, especially those that have visible marks, typically fall into lower grades, such as good, very good, fine, or at best, very fine. Collectors usually prefer coins that are clean and sharp because they display the design more clearly and look better in albums. Dirt and scratches reduce eye appeal, which lowers collector demand. Still, even a circulated 1952D penny has some collectible interest, because it is part of the wheat cent series that so many hobbyists build by year and mint mark. In today's market, the value of a 1952D wheat penny in worn, dirty, and scratched condition is usually between 5 cents and 20 cents. That is more than its face value, but not by much, because the coin is common and the condition lowers demand. Coins in similar circulated grades but with cleaner surfaces might bring a quarter or a little more. When we move up into better condition, the value rises steadily. A 1952D penny in extremely fine condition with no major problems can sell for around 50 cents. An about uncirculated coin with much of its original detail still present may bring $1 or slightly more. Uncirculated examples are where the real premiums appear. Mint state coins with original luster typically sell for $2 to $5. Bright red examples where the copper color has been preserved can sell for $10 or more in mint state. 65 condition. At the highest grades, certified gems can reach $50 or higher, though those are far less common because most coins entered circulation quickly after minting. It is also worth mentioning that there are occasional error varieties from the 1952 Denver production run. Collectors have reported double dies, repunched mint marks, and other striking errors. These varieties can bring significantly more money depending on rarity and demand, sometimes tens or even hundreds of dollars. However, scratches and dirt are not mint errors, they are simply post-mint damage that lowers value. To determine whether your coin might be an error, it would need to be carefully examined under magnification. The history behind this coin also adds to its interest. In 1952, the United States was still in the post-World War II period of economic growth. The penny remained an important coin in daily life, used for public phones, candy, transportation, and countless small purchases. Millions of Americans carried wheat cents like your 1952D in their pockets every day, though they are common. They carry nostalgia for a time when a penny had real purchasing power and the wheat design was a familiar sight in everyday commerce. Auction listings today confirm the value ranges. Large quantities of circulated 1952D pennies are often sold in bulk lots, where collectors pay by the roll or by the pound. In those settings, individual coins like yours are generally valued just above face value. Higher-grade coins, however, attract more attention, especially if they have full red luster. Certified gems often bring strong bids from collectors who want the very best examples for their registry sets. Next up, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And it is one of the later issues of the classic Wheat Cent series, which ran from 1909 through 1958. Like all wheat pennies, it carries the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head appears the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right you will find the date 1956, since there is no mint mark. It was struck in Philadelphia, which was the primary mint responsible for most cents of this era. The reverse still holds the famous wheat stalk design that gives the series its name, with 1 cent and United States of America boldly in the center, flanked by 2 stylized stalks of wheat, and the motto, E pluribus unum, at the top. In terms of production, the 1956 Philadelphia wheat penny had an extremely high mintage. Over 420 million coins were struck that year, which makes it very common compared to many earlier issues in the series. Because so many were produced and saved, collectors can find these coins in large numbers, even today. This abundance means the typical value for a circulated piece is modest. However, collectors still enjoy these coins because they are part of the final years of the wheat penny design, and many build complete sets that require the 1956 Philadelphia cent. Your coin is described as being in good condition. In numismatic grading terms, good is toward the lower end of the scale. It means the coin has seen heavy circulation and wear. On the obverse, Lincoln's portrait will be worn, with the finer details of his hair, cheek, and coat smoothed out. The lettering, however, should still be readable, and the date is clear. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are often flattened, with only outlines visible, and many of the kernels are lost to wear. A coin in good condition may also have scratches, discoloration, or other signs of long circulation, which further lowers its market appeal compared to higher-grade examples. So what is a 1956 Lincoln wheat penny in good condition worth in today's market? Because of the very high mintage and the large number that still exists, a typical circulated coin in this grade is usually worth between 3 cents and 10 cents. Most collectors can acquire one easily for under a dime. The value increases in higher grades in extra fine condition. These coins can sell for about 20 to 50 cents. While in uncirculated condition with bright red luster, they may bring $2 to $5. The highest grade certified examples with full red color can sell for much more, sometimes reaching into the tens of dollars depending on demand and registry sets. It's also worth mentioning that while the regular issue 1956 Philadelphia cent is common, era coins from this year can carry significant premiums. Collectors search for doubled dies, repunched mint marks on Denver issues, off-center strikes, and die cracks. A dramatic error from 1956 could transform a coin that would normally be worth only a few cents into one worth 20, 50, or even hundreds of dollars, depending on rarity and condition. For that reason, it's always smart to examine your coin carefully under magnification if you suspect anything unusual. Overall, The 1956 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark in good condition, even with scratches, is worth only a few cents. Above face value in today's market, usually not more than 10 cents. However, it remains a fun and affordable piece of American history, representing one of the final years of the wheat cent design before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. For new collectors, it is a good starting point, and for experienced ones, it is an essential piece to complete the later years of the wheat series. Even common dates like this one remind us of how coins connect us to the past, carrying the image of Lincoln and the artistry of early 20th century coin design into the present day. Next up, the Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most collected coins in the history of the United States, and every year and mint mark tells part of a larger story. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the wheat cent ran until 1958 and remains a cornerstone of coin collecting today. The coin we are focusing on here is the 1955 Lincoln cent with the D Mint mark. Struck at the Denver Mint, it is described as being in very fine condition with some scratches. And understanding its place in the series, as well as its current market value, requires a closer look at both its history and its condition. By 1955, the wheat cent had already been in circulation for more than 4 decades. The design by Victor David Brenner had become familiar to millions of Americans, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the 2 wheat stalks framing the denomination on the reverse. The Denver Mint was a major producer of cents during this time, and in 1955 it struck more than 563 million wheat pennies with the D Mint mark. This high mintage means that the 1955D penny is considered a common date, and millions still survive today in circulated condition. Your coin is described as being in very fine condition with scratches. Very fine is a mid-level circulated grade, and on a wheat penny in this grade, the portrait of Lincoln will still show most of its details, but there will be noticeable wear on his cheekbone, jaw, and hair. The reverse will have wheat ears that are visible but not sharp, and the lettering will remain strong and easy to read. Coins in very fine condition are appealing because they still display clear detail but are much more affordable than uncirculated examples. However, scratches on the surfaces lower the overall eye appeal and reduce collector demand. Collectors prefer coins that are free from damage, so scratches typically keep a coin's value on the lower end of the scale. In today's market, a 1955D wheat penny in very fine condition with scratches is generally worth around 10 cents to 25 cents. That is a small premium over its face value, reflecting the fact that it is a common date and available in large numbers. Without scratches, a coin in very fine condition might sell closer to 30 or 40 cents. This demonstrates how important eye appeal is when collectors decide what they are willing to pay. When we move up the grading scale, values increase. In extremely fine condition, a 1955D penny may bring 50 cents or a little more. In about uncirculated grades, where only light wear remains, the value can reach $1 or slightly higher. Mint state coins, which show no circulation wear and still retain original luster, are where the larger premiums appear. Typical uncirculated examples can sell for $2 to $5, while bright red coins in Mint State 65 may sell for $10 to $20. The very best certified red gems in Mint State 67 can bring $50 or more at auction. Since they are scarcer and in demand for high-end collections, it's worth noting that 1955 is a famous year in Lincoln cent history because of the famous 1955 doubled die obverse, one of the most dramatic and sought-after errors in U.S. coinage. Those doubled die coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and do not carry a mint mark. They show extreme doubling in the date and lettering on the obverse and can sell for thousands of dollars. The Denver issue, however, does not include that doubled die variety, and the 1955D is a separate, much more common coin. Still, Collectors often associate the year 1955 with the famous double die, which brings extra attention to all pennies from this date. Auction sales today confirm that 1955D wheat cents in circulated condition, especially those with scratches, typically sell for only a little over face value. They are often found in bulk wheat cent lots, where rolls or bags of common dates are sold together. Individual very fine examples may not bring more than a quarter, but high-grade uncirculated pieces with strong red color still attract collectors and sell for several dollars. Next up, the 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny, without a mint mark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And like all wheat pennies, it carries a great deal of history and collector interest. This coin belongs to the classic wheat cent series that ran from 1909 until 1958, and it features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the words, "In God We Trust," above liberty to the left, and the date 1937 prominently displayed to the right. The absence of a mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia, which produced the largest share of pennies that year. On the reverse, you'll find the traditional wheat stalk design encircling the denomination 1 cent and the motto E pluribus unum. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 309 million pennies in 1937, which makes this coin fairly common when compared to rarer dates in the series. However, collectors still seek them out in better grades, especially coins that have survived the decades with strong details and appealing surfaces. The fact that your coin is in very fine condition makes it more desirable than a heavily worn piece. It's very fine grade, often abbreviated as VF, means the coin has moderate wear, but much of the design is still sharp. Lincoln's hair and cheek details are worn but visible. His coat and bow tie retain definition. And on the reverse, the wheat stalks still show clear separation and detail in the kernels. Scratches may reduce the eye appeal slightly, but in the very fine range. The coin is still attractive for a nearly 90-year-old piece. Now, let's talk about value in today's market. A 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny from Philadelphia in average circulated condition is usually worth only a few cents, just slightly above face value. However, in very fine condition, the coin is valued higher. Most price guides place it in the range of about 20 to 50 cents, depending on eye appeal and the severity of any marks or scratches. In extra fine and uncirculated grades, the value increases significantly, with uncirculated examples selling from a few dollars up to around $15 or $20 depending on color designation. Brown designation, brown, or full red. Error coins are another category worth mentioning. On some 1937 cents, collectors look for double dies or repunched mint marks from the Denver and San Francisco issues. But for the Philadelphia issue, these errors are less common. Still, if your coin has unusual doubling or striking flaws, it could fetch a premium far beyond the normal market value. Professional grading or an expert's evaluation is recommended if you suspect you have an error. So in summary, a 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with some scratches is typically worth between 20 and 50 cents in today's market. While that may not seem like a huge dollar amount, its true value lies in its history and collectability. This coin has survived from the Great Depression era, passed through countless hands, and now finds a place in a collection where its story continues. For new collectors, it represents an affordable way to own a piece of American history. And for experienced numismatists, it's an essential part of building a complete wheat penny set. Next up, the Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most iconic coins in American numismatics, and few dates are as instantly recognized as the 1944 issue. Produced during the final years of World War II, the 1944 cent holds a special place in history because of both its timing and its composition. The coin we are discussing today is a 1944 Lincoln Wheat cent without a mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. It is described as having a red color shade, but also being in damaged condition with scratches. Even in this state, it tells an important story about its time, and its value today depends heavily on these details. The year 1944 was a turning point in world history. The United States was fully engaged in the war effort and coin production. Reflected this, in 1943, the Mint had experimented with steel cents coated in zinc to save copper for the war. However, those steel cents were unpopular because they rusted easily and were often mistaken for dimes. In 1944, the Mint returned to using copper for pennies, but instead of new copper, much of the metal came from recycled shell casings collected from the battlefields. This makes the 1944 cent not only a coin of commerce, but also a coin tied directly to the wartime story of sacrifice and recycling. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 1.4 billion cents in 1944, one of the highest mintages in wheat penny history. Because of this huge number, the 1944 Philadelphia cent is not considered rare. It is very common in circulated condition and is often found in bulk, lots of wheat cents. However, collectors still value it because of its history and because every date in the wheat cent series is needed to complete a collection. Your coin is described as being in red color shade, but also in damaged condition with scratches. In numismatics, color is very important for copper coins. Lincoln cents are graded not only by wear, but also by their color: brown, red-brown, or red. A red cent is one that has retained much of its original mint color, the bright orange-red tone of newly struck copper. Red coins are far more desirable to collectors than brown ones, especially in higher grades. However, when a coin is damaged whether from scratches, dents, cleaning, or environmental exposure, its value drops significantly, even if it has good color. In today's market, a 1944 Philadelphia wheat cent in damaged condition with scratches generally sells for about 5 cents to 20 cents. The fact that it has a red shade could help a little, but because it is damaged, collectors will see it as a low-grade example. For comparison, a 1944 cent in average circulated condition without damage typically brings around 10 to 25 cents. Extra fine examples might sell for 50 cents, and uncirculated coins can range from $1 to $5. Certified red gems in mint state 65 or higher can bring $10 to $20. And at the very highest levels, some have sold for more than $100. This shows just how much condition and eye appeal matter. The most valuable 1944 cents are not the regular copper ones, but the famous errors. A small number of 1944 cents were mistakenly struck on leftover steel planchettes from 1943. These rare steel cents are extremely valuable, sometimes selling for tens of thousands of dollars. Similarly, there are a few 1944D cents struck on zinc-coated steel planchettes that bring even higher prices. Unfortunately, coins in damaged condition that are simply copper with scratches do not fall into that category. Still, collectors sometimes test 1944 pennies to make sure they are not one of the rare steel varieties, because the value difference is so great. Auction records show that damaged 1944 Philadelphia cents rarely sell individually for more than a few cents. They are often grouped into bulk lots where dealers sell hundreds of common wheat cents together for collectors to search through. Attractive, uncirculated red coins, however, do draw strong bidding, showing the wide range of values depending on condition. Even if your coin does not have high market value, it still carries significance as a piece of American history. It was minted at a time when soldiers were fighting overseas and Americans at home were recycling metal and rationing supplies to support the war effort. This penny could have been used to buy a newspaper reporting on DID, a candy bar for a child waiting for their father to return from the front, or a bus fare in a busy American city. Every scratch on its surface is part of that journey. Next up, the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and it is one of the more common wheat cents of the pre-World War II era. On the obverse, the coin features the enduring portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, which by 1940 had already been in use for more than 3 decades. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" arch above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" sits to the left, and the date 1940 is clearly visible on the right. Since the coin has no mint mark, we know it was produced in Philadelphia, which struck the largest share of Lincoln cents that year. On the reverse, the classic wheat stalks frame the denomination 1 cent and the words "United States of America," while the Latin motto "E pluribus unum" is at the top historically. The 1940 wheat penny belongs to the years leading up to America's entry into World War II. The country was still recovering from the Great Depression, but the mint continued producing coins in very large quantities for commerce. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 586 million Lincoln cents in 1940, an enormous number for the time. Because of this, the 1940 cent is considered common, and examples survive in high numbers to this day. Still, collectors value them for their age, historical background, and as an essential part of building a complete wheat cent set. Your coin is described as being in extra fine condition, which is abbreviated XF or EF in numismatics. Extra fine means the coin saw some circulation but retains much of its original detail. On the obverse, Lincoln's hair, cheek, and beard still show sharp definition, though with light wear on the highest points. The lines of his coat and bow tie are distinct, and the lettering is bold. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are well defined, with most of the individual lines still visible, although some flattening occurs on the tips. This is a very collectible grade, well above a fine or good circulated example, though of course not as pristine as an uncirculated coin. Even with some scratches, a coin in extra fine condition has strong appeal, because most details remain intact and attractive. Now, let's talk about value in today's market. A 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition is typically valued between 25 cents and 50 cents. This range depends on the coin's eye appeal, luster remaining, and the severity of scratches. Coins with bright surfaces and minimal marks can reach the upper end of this range, while duller examples may be closer to the lower end. In higher grades, such as about uncirculated, the value may rise toward $1. Uncirculated Philadelphia issues from 1940 are more valuable, with prices ranging from $2 to $5 for brown or red-brown examples, and $10 to $20 or more for full red coins. At the very highest certified grades, especially those graded MS67 red, the value can skyrocket into the hundreds of dollars. Although regular 1940 Philadelphia wheat cents are common, collectors also look for error varieties that bring a premium. Some double die obverses and reverse errors from this year exist, though they are scarce. Off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchettes are also known and can raise value significantly, with prices ranging from a few dollars into the hundreds depending on the severity and rarity of the error. For this reason, many collectors carefully examine 1940 cents with magnification to ensure they are not overlooking a hidden variety. In summary, a 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition with some scratches is usually worth around 25 to 50 cents in today's collector market. While not rare, it represents a significant piece of American coinage history from the years just before the U.S. entered World War II. For new collectors, it is an affordable yet attractive coin that shows off the wheat cent design with most of its detail intact. For more advanced numismatists, it fills an important place in a date and mint mark set and may even lead to searching for rare varieties. Above all, the 1940 wheat penny demonstrates how even the most common coins can connect U.S. to history, carrying with them the stories of the era in which they circulated.